Jaron Boots Ennis has just joined Canelo Alvarez in his training camp to help him prepare for his upcoming clash against Terence Crawford. However, Brian Norman Sr. said that sparring with Jaron Boots Ennis does not really prepare Canelo Alvarez for Terence Crawford because their styles are very different. He explained that the only real similarity between Boots and Crawford is that both can switch stances naturally, but beyond that, they fight in completely different ways. Norman added that he never understood the comparison between them, but still believes working with Ennis is valuable since all quality sparring is good preparation and helps sharpen skills.
Give him a better chance. I mean, I think it's good work. Crawford, I don't think Crawford fight. Not Crawford. I don't think Boots fight like Crawford at all. That was just I think the comparisons they was making initially was just as they both were switch hitters and they both could be so naturally. That's really the only thing that they do the same. They don't do anything else the same, literally. So I never understood the comparison in that myself. But I think it's still a good look because all work is good work and you want the best work.
Moreover, Bredman Edwards said that using Jaron Boots Ennis as a sparring partner for Canelo Alvarez was a smart decision because Boots and Terence Crawford share many similarities, even if they are not identical. He explained that both can switch stances, fight as boxer punchers, and carry a killer mentality, making the work highly valuable. Edwards mentioned he has known Boots for over a decade, first hiring him in 2014 to spar Julian Williams, and has seen his growth firsthand in Philadelphia gyms. He added that this choice shows Canelo is taking the fight seriously, and while some people changed their pick after seeing this move, he still believes Crawford will win.
Because if I was getting prepared for Crawford, I would use Boots as a sparring partner. If I was getting prepared for Boots, I would use Crawford as a sparring partner. I think that they're not exactly the same. No two people are, but they're very, very similar in styles with the switching, boxer puncher, killer mentality. They got a lot of things similar. So I think it was a good move by Team Canelo. And I got a kid that I train that box Boots, Crawford, and Canelo. So, and obviously being from Philly, I done seen Boots in the gym for the last 11 years. Literally, the first time I ever hired him was in 2014 to spar Julian Williams. So I've been around him a long time. And I think it was a good move, you know. I'm still rocking with Crawford, but I know some people that was like, man, I'm changing my pick now because that's like the best sparring you could get. And they showed them that Canelo is taking this fight super serious. So I respect everybody's opinion, but I'm still rocking with Crawford. I still think he's going to pull it off.
Furthermore, Andre Darrell said that Jaron Boots Ennis joining Canelo Alvarez's camp is a form of payback toward Terence Crawford for not fighting Boots back in 2024 when he called him out. He explained that Crawford chose a bigger opportunity instead, going after Canelo Alvarez on September 13, 2025, which offered greater legacy, a bigger name, a larger payday, and more status. Darrell added that it is too late now for Boots to get that fight, but he is excited to see how this camp helps Boots grow as a fighter, improving his toughness, skill set, and ring IQ.
Camp with Canelo. I do believe this is get back on Crawford for not taking the fight with Boots back in 2024 when Boots called him out. But Crawford was on the bigger and better things, baby. That bigger and better things being Canelo Alvarez, September 13th, 2025. Bigger legacy, bigger name, bigger payday, bigger status. So too little too late, Boots, but I am looking forward to how you advance in your career after this because this camp is definitely going to level you up, man. You're going to get better because of it in every aspect: toughness, skill set, smarts.
He went on to say that this experience will level Boots up in every aspect and prepare him for future challenges. Darrell expressed his belief that Crawford will likely walk away into the sunset after this, especially if he wins, and that Boots will have to aim for other opportunities moving forward. He encouraged Boots to give Canelo strong work in camp because Canelo will need it, echoing Roy Jones's words that Canelo must be at his best. Darrell closed by saying he is looking forward to seeing where Boots takes his career after this camp.
You're going to get a lot from this camp, champ. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you do because of it. You're already a bad man, dog. I want to see where you take it from here. But Crawford, it's over. I believe he walking away in the sunset, especially if he walking away with the victory, which I'm hoping for. But you, champ, you're going to have to settle for something else. Get Canelo that work, man. He going to need it. He going to need it. According to Roy Jones, Canelo got to be on his A game. You got to be on yours too, man. We looking forward to seeing what you do after this. It's raining on me right now, so I'm going to cut this short, baby. But Boots, get somebody else, champ. Get somebody else. I'm out.
Greg Hackett said that Jaron "Boots" Ennis will gain a lot from being in camp with an elite fighter like Canelo Alvarez, who has faced every style imaginable. He explained that Canelo has already seen southpaws, tall opponents, short fighters, slick movers, and aggressive brawlers, so sparring with him provides a wealth of experience and exposure. Hackett added that working with someone as confident and fully prepared as Canelo is invaluable for a fighter's growth.
I mean, Jaron Ennis get from it being in with the elite, a guy who's prepared for everything. One thing you can't say about Canelo is that he hasn't seen something. Canelo's seen southpaws, he's seen tall guys, short guys, slick fighters, he's seen bulls, he's been up against everything. So you get a world of experience with a guy like Canelo. You get a guy who's in full confidence with a guy like Canelo.
AKOYE said he was glad Jaron "Boots" Ennis went to spar with Canelo Alvarez because it gives Boots top-level sparring that he rarely gets, as he is usually the one dominating others in his area. He explained that this move is also a big benefit for Canelo, especially ahead of a fight he views as a true 50-50 matchup against Terence Crawford. AKOYE mentioned that their walk-around weights may not be too far apart despite fighting at different divisions, and noted that Crawford has more offensive tools, while Canelo's chance lies in hurting him early, cutting off the ring, and making it a tough night.
I'm glad that he did it because, one, that gives him, I guess, top level sparring, because Boots is always looking for sparring too because he's tearing guys up here. So I've never seen him travel anywhere to spar. I don't know if he has. Maybe he does. I don't know. But for him to do that, that's a big step for him. But beyond that, it's a better step for Canelo because, honestly, somebody asked me the other day, I think my fiance might have asked me, like, who you think gonna win the fight? She don't really know boxing. So I was like, yo, this is actually one of the few fights that's 50-50 to me because they both highly skilled, and then their walk around weights, you really don't know how far off of each other they really are in regards to true size, because although Crawford fights at a lower weight, they may walk around at a similar weight, you never know. Frame wise, they're not that far off. So, and then also Crawford has a lot more tools in the bag in regards to offense. Like, he got a lot of offensive skills. So I said, okay, well, if Crawford fights his fight, he can make it difficult for Canelo. And if Canelo can hurt Crawford early and corner him and cut the ring off real well, he can make it a difficult night for Crawford.
However, Teddy Atlas said he could see Terence Crawford winning because Canelo Alvarez's recent performances suggest possible decline. He questioned whether Canelo has grown old in the sport, lost urgency after earning so much money, or simply no longer has the same fire. Atlas also raised the point that Canelo might have been overrated, noting arguments that he lost the first fight against Gennady Golovkin and was clearly beaten by Floyd Mayweather. He added that while some excused the Mayweather loss by saying Canelo was too young, he had already been a professional for many years by then.
Oh yeah, I could see Crawford winning. And why? Well, Canelo's last performance, real quick, what could it be? I already went over this. You want to hear it in a deeper breakdown? Canelo, he's either old man time, that undefeated guy, he finally caught up to him. He's made so much money that the urgency's not there, the fire's not there. At least it wasn't there a week ago. Oh my God, I'm gonna say this one, that maybe he's a little overrated. I listen, you know, you can make the argument that he lost the first Triple G, you know, but you can make the argument he lost to Lara. He did lose to Mayweather. You can make the argument he was too young in his career. Maybe. Although it wasn't that young. He turned pro when he was 15 or 16. He was 23. He was already pro for how many years?
Moreover, Amir Khan said he knows Terence Crawford well and described him as mentally strong and extremely focused, calling him a killing machine when he locks in on something. Khan explained that Crawford has a switch that, once triggered, makes him fearless and relentless, very different from fighters who take a gentler approach. He recalled seeing Crawford spar and even wrestle with heavier opponents, taking them down and making them struggle despite the size difference. Khan added that while people talk about Canelo Alvarez being stronger or punching harder, Crawford's core strength and overall toughness are underestimated, and many will be surprised by how powerful he really is.
Well enough where, okay, the guy is so mentally strong, and when he sticks to one thing and he's focused, he's a killing machine. Honestly, like, I've been there with him, you know what I mean? And I've seen him when he's triggers. You don't want to switch that. You don't want to have that switch because the guy is an animal and he has no fear. With us, we were nice guys, you know what I mean? We were a little bit more nicer than him. When I was a fighter myself, he's total opposite to me. He's a proper killer, bro. Like, he don't give a damn. He's one of them, like, just let's go to war.
You saw him spar bigger guys as well?
Yeah, I mean, look, sparring heavier guys, but I've seen him wrestling more heavier guys, really. And boxing, yeah, but wrestling heavier guys and taking them down. Like, bro, making them scream. Honestly, we were doing that. Now, that's why when people said to me, Canelo's stronger, but I don't know if Canelo, yeah, stronger at punching maybe, but at that body weight, that strength, that core strength, Crawford's a beast. People are gonna see, people not gonna expect that from Crawford.
Furthermore, Antonio Tarver said that both Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford have the greatness to win this fight, making it impossible to confidently pick one over the other. He highlighted Canelo's power, strength, and durability, noting that he has rarely been hurt in his career, with only one real moment of trouble in the past. Tarver explained that Canelo has learned how to either take a punch or avoid it, showing his intelligence in the ring. On the other side, he praised Crawford as one of the most gifted fighters who achieved success through hard work, commitment, and leadership, inspiring many younger champions.
You don't know who's going to win the fight. Let's say that. Both of these guys' greatness can win this fight. You feel me? Both of these guys' greatness can win this fight. You would be crazy to think Canelo can't win this fight with his power, strength, and this man ain't never been hurt, really never been in trouble before. But that one time,
shout out to Cotto, Puerto Rico.
Yeah, the one time, yeah, the Cotto,
the younger brother, the other brother. Yeah,
that's the only time we seen Canelo shook up. So he learned how to either take a punch or not get hit with that punch. Smart, you feel me? Tank, man, one of the most.
What you mean, Bud?
Bud. I'm sorry, Bud. One of the most gifted fighters out there, bro. And he got it the hard way. You feel me? The hard way, through work, commitment, and dedication, and being a leader. He's really led a lot of these young champions. You feel me? So Crawford has stood out from the beginning, bro.
Richard Torres said that although he is a big Canelo Alvarez fan, he leans toward Terence Crawford because he knows him personally and is impressed by his skills. He praised Crawford's exceptional defense, ability to adapt to opponents, and versatility as a switch hitter with many different tools. Torres explained that while Canelo always carries fight-ending power, especially at a higher weight where he is naturally settled, Crawford has the talent and pound-for-pound ability to rise to the challenge over the long game, making the fight very exciting to watch.
So I'm a Canelo fan through and through. He's one of my favorite fighters. But I know Terence Crawford personally, and I'm a little biased for Crawford, so I am leaning towards Crawford. Crawford has some of the best defense I've ever seen, and I think he styles his defense to the fighter too. You know, like what he did with Spence and some of these other guys. It's impressive.
Switch hitting.
The switch hitting, being able to do so many different. He has so many different assets and abilities that I'm leaning towards Crawford, but I'm leaning towards Crawford in the long game. I don't necessarily. I think Canelo will always have that one shot killer shot, you know, and so he has to watch out for it, especially at a bigger weight. Where Canelo, he's filled in that weight. You know, he was able to really like move up and take on and personify that weight. I think that Crawford has to be able to do that himself. But if anyone can do it, Crawford can do it. You know, Crawford's one of the pound for pound guys, and And I'm just excited to see that fight, if I'm being honest with you.
David Hayes said that if anyone is capable of doing the impossible and defeating Canelo Alvarez, it is Terence Crawford. He admitted that he never thought he would see the day when these two fighters shared the same ring. Given Canelo's history of competing at much higher weights as a former light heavyweight champion and the undisputed super middleweight champion, Hay once believed Canelo's natural size would always give him the advantage over smaller opponents. But after seeing them together, he realized their sizes are more comparable than expected, turning this into a true pound-for-pound contest.
If anyone can do the impossible, and that's beating Canelo, I've been a fan of his for a long time, and likewise with Crawford, I never thought there was a version of reality where they'd both be in the ring with each other. I initially automatically assumed, because Canelo's obviously beaten, because he was the light heavyweight champion of the world, undisputed super middleweight champion of the world, he's just campaigned at a much bigger weight, so a good big can beats a good little one, usually. Until I saw them standing next to each other and they looked the same size. I couldn't quite figure it out. I was like, okay, if they're the same size, then it's literally pound for pound. Who's pound for pound better? And that's it, they're both pound for pound fighters. A lot of people have got them 1 and 2.
He explained that while his early pick was Canelo, his opinion has shifted because Crawford, much like Andre Ward, is a highly calculated fighter who would not accept such a dangerous challenge without knowing he had the necessary skills to win. Hay called this matchup a rare meeting of two elite fighters and described it as a dream fight that boxing fans have long hoped for. He added that a clash of this scale would have been hard to imagine 10 years ago, but the modern boxing landscape makes it possible.
I favoured Canelo starting off, but over time, I'm starting to think once again Crawford is one of those guys where he reminds me of kind of Andre Ward a little bit, their mindset, and he wouldn't put himself in a position if he didn't know for sure he had enough firepower to deal with someone of Canelo's stature and Canelo's history. But it's the two best fighters on the planet. Mixing it up, it's one of those dream fights. It's a proper trades fight, that anyone who's interested in boxing and want to see two living legends going at it. Yeah, I can't believe it's actually happening. Does that make sense? Because they're so big in their own right. The fact that fight would never have happened 10 years ago, 15 years ago. It just wouldn't have happened. But now anything's possible in boxing. Anything's possible.
Andre Ward said he is thrilled to be ringside at Allegiant Stadium for what he called a historic night with major stakes for both fighters. He praised Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford for risking their legacies, reputations, and super middleweight standing at this stage of their careers, highlighting how uncommon it is in today's boxing for top fighters to choose such high-risk matchups over safer options.
I'm excited to be a part of this event. I'm excited to be ringside calling this great card and this great matchup. Historic event for many reasons for both fighters. Super middleweight supremacy on the line, legacies on the line, your namesake and reputation is on the line. And I just take my hat off to both of these fighters for putting everything on the line late in their careers the way that they are. This is rare, and it's becoming more and more rare in boxing. Guys don't want this kind of smoke. They really don't want to face another counterpart that can ruin everything that they built. And it really don't matter how much money's on the table for a lot of guys. They'd rather take a lesser risk for less money than to risk everything like these two fighters are doing. So I take my hat off.
Timothy Bradley Jr. said he expects Canelo Alvarez to try to control the center of the ring and possibly move lightly on his feet early, as both fighters will want to test each other's power in the opening stages. He explained that the early rounds will focus on positioning, balance, and finding the right distance to land effectively while avoiding counters, noting that Canelo usually settles into his rhythm quicker than Terence Crawford.
I think Canelo will try to control the center of the ring. I think he might even box a little bit on his toes, due to the fact because he wants to feel the punching power, and vice versa. Crawford wants to feel his punching power as well. In the beginning, it's all the position balance. Like both guys are trying to get balance and trying to find their rhythm. Understanding their distance to where they can punch and at the same time avoid getting hit. It takes Crawford a little bit more time than I would say Canelo to get right to it.
Hamza Shiraz added that he sees the fight being very competitive in the first 6 rounds, but after that he believes Canelo will begin to take over and dominate as the fight progresses.
How do you expect his fight with Terence to go in September?
I expect the fight to be very competitive for the first 6 rounds, and then Canelo to take over and dominate.
Ronnie Shields said he sees the matchup as an exciting one and believes Terence Crawford genuinely has a real chance to come out on top. He explained that Crawford will present a different style compared to fighters such as Callum Smith or Erislandy Lara, using his ability to switch stances, mix up his movement, and capitalize on counterpunching to create openings. Shields added that if Crawford can make Canelo Alvarez miss and immediately take advantage of those moments, he can break Canelo's rhythm and force him into uncomfortable positions, which he views as the most effective way to test Canelo's dominance.
I think it's going to be a great fight. You know, I've been asked this question a lot the last couple months.
Yeah.
And I really and truly believe that Crawford has a great chance. You know, Crawford is not going to fight him like School fought him. He's not going to fight him like Lara fought him. Crawford is going to be doing a little bit of ins and out, I believe, turning left-handed and right-handed. And, you know, for me, I think he's going to give Canelo a problem because Canelo probably going to think he's going to be moving a lot. And I don't think so. I think Crawford is going to practice, you know, rely on his counterpunching abilities and then start taking the lead and putting Canelo in positions he's never been in, you know, in a long time. So, and I think that's the right way to fight Canelo. You know, you can't worry about his power. You just got to worry about making him miss and then countering and being effective. And Crawford has all the ability to do that.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? What do you think about Canelo versus Crawford upcoming clash? We would love to hear your thoughts on this. So share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.